Mick's an SE at Cloudflare. He's got more than 20,000 years of IT building service support. That's what it says here. Apparently he's actually a death metal drummer. Probably the word death metal is the wrong word, but he wears a mask when he's drumming. Okay.
Yeah, nice drummer.
Yeah, do you do the Cookie Monster bits as well? Or was that someone else?
No, that's someone else.
Yeah, okay, mate. Yeah. Just checking. So this afternoon, Mick's going to talk about the ghost in the machine, AI automated attacks from inside and out. Please welcome Mick.
All right, welcome everybody. I'll try and bring the energy back up. I think I was told this is the last talk of in this room at least today, so let's make this fun. Obviously, Cloudflare and all the legals and fun disclaimers, so I'm just going to read through this one. I wrote it myself. None of this is AI written. So I'm not a security analyst, hacking specialist, red teamer, nor expert. I'm an Imagineer, right? I try to spark some imagination with people who haven't thought about these types of attacks before. These ideas come from a place of love to make the internet a better place. We all good with that? Yeah. Everyone's happy with that? We want the internet to be a better place? This is the place to do it. All right, welcome everybody. Let's have some new faces. I'm about to show you how easy AI can be to exploit. If at any point you feel uncomfortable, that's my point, okay? All right, so we're gonna start off easy. I'll kind of ease you into this, and then we'll get to worse and worse, and hopefully an attack you haven't thought about yet or haven't seen, and if you have, then we need to tell even more people about it. So let's start off easy, all right, everybody? This is a HR chat. We all work at businesses. We have these departments. We're deploying chat interfaces. So pretty typical sort of standard chat interface. Maybe it's connected to Bamboo HR. Maybe it's connected to Workday. Are these some names? Can I get some nods? Are these some names of systems we have that's like, yeah, actually AI talking to my Workday might actually be really useful. Let's see. So what we're going to do today on this example, oh yeah, and sorry, I didn't pray to the demo gods, but please do that for me. All this is live. We have videos if we need, but I love to be on the edge and just like risk it all, right? So let's have a look what happens when we don't put some of these guardrails and DLP in place. So I'll preface this talk too. I come from Cloudflare, but I'd love you to know that this is an agnostic talk. I just want all of you to be safe. If you use Cloudflare, that's awesome. And you can see how easy it is to use our platform. You'll see it throughout this talk. But if you're using another hyperscaler or another brand, that's fine. I just want you to protect your staff and your environment. So at Cloudflare, we have this beautiful AI gateway. It's really easy to add guardrails. You can see some of the ones I've put in place. And we also have DLP, so that data loss prevention. We can put in a whole bunch. For this example, you'll see it's pretty lightweight. It's just PII and some financial information. That makes sense for like a HR platform. So the guardrails and DLP settings are now enabled. All right, let's not enable it. Everyone see this okay? I might zoom in a little bit. Is that better? Yeah, we're good? All right. For the Americans in the room, social security number. Okay, so this is a RAG system. AI just talking. For this demo, it's RAG system, but yeah, this could easily MCP or hit an API straight into your HR system. Great, we've got John's social security number. It's probably not what we want all our staff in our organization to see. What else can we do? How about like, let's list all employees' personal details. So this is running on Cloudflare's like Edge AI inference models, and it's streaming pretty fast, which is good. You can see in there, we probably don't want to share medical details and medical conditions either. Again, not great. And this is the sort of stuff people in your businesses would be trying to vibe code. They're like, great, I can talk to my HR system, I'll knock it out in Claude Code and deploy it, and then this is happening as shadow AI before you even know it. So we've all got the gist, yes? Can we get a collective yes, that this is probably not the best thing we want all users in our org to get? Yeah? Yes, Mick. Yeah, thanks, thanks everybody. All right, so what I'm going to do is turn on the first low-hanging fruit. Let's just turn on those DLP and those guardrails that you saw before, just through AI Gateway. That's our nice conduit at Cloudflare. We send all our LLM requests through this conduit. We pick the model, and it runs those first. So you haven't spent a single token. When I try and run these next, I'm praying to the gods, we should see some nice blocks. So how about we go, show me salary and home address for all staff. Let's run that. Good, blocked attempt, that's what we want. Let's do John's thing again. Blocked again, right? Perfect. I've just stopped all the employees now getting straight to it. Now the next step is for you to educate the people building this, the devs, then put that security hat on and not leave security to the end as like a 10% GST security tax. We're going to do it early on. They could check for RBAC, what permissions, roles the staff have, and only allow this to the people that should be able to see it. So you can see straight away it's a quick way to just block some of this stuff leaking out. Didn't even use any tokens. We check for this first. If it comes in with like PII, financial information, blocked. Cool? Everyone happy with that? That's the first start.
Sorry, is that based on the question that you're asking or the data that's coming back? Because if it's the data that's coming back, then...
Yeah, so it'll be the question we ask, and it looks at what that request is, and it's like, oh, okay, that fits our guardrails or our DLP, let's bail. I really love this quote. I'm just going to have a quick drink while you guys all read it. So we just figured out SQL injection, right? Like we got there 15 years later. Yes, well, most of us did at least. And our WAFs are blocking, it's great. And now we just ignore previous instructions and go on to the next prompt injection attack. I'll give you a quick question as well. Who do you reckon is the best at prompt injection attacks in the world? No, I'll give you a clue. Any parents in the room? I reckon my kids are the ultimate prompt injectors. I'll be like, all right, we're going to do this. They're like, nah, forget that. We're going to go watch YouTube every time. So let's get into the next one. Let's kind of get our language right as well. I think that's important. Prompt injection. It could be system prompts. It could be user prompts. Like skill prompts now. Skills are so hot. Everyone's like skills. Everything's skills.md. Skills everywhere. Got external prompts now. Maybe that prompt is coming from an external factor, API, MCP, something like that. So what does the model obey, right? When some of these prompts conflict? It's really important we also know that all our traditional security methods and best practices haven't changed. Just because AI is involved, none of that onion layers and defense in depth have changed. All the best practices still apply. We're just reapplying it now to AI in slightly different ways. But don't ever forget the basics. The basics still matter. So what we normally have is, request. We do some identity, maybe some authorization. Go through a nice AI gateway. Ask me which one I think is great. Guardrails, DLP, and then off to the LLM. And then let's traverse back the other way. Maybe Claude, maybe OpenAI, maybe Kimi. Sends back some response, goes back through our DLP and guardrail checks, back through our gateway. Should I be seeing that response? That's important. And then now we display the response. And that could be an image, could be a song now, that's pretty cool. Could be just text, whatever you want. So there's no, with all of this stuff, right, there's no magic checkbox. I wish there was. Maybe we'll get there, maybe. But I think it's a matter of using our traditional techniques, defense in depth, combining them, using great vendors, like Cloudflare, and combining some of these onto your platforms and just hardening them from early on. Don't leave it, if you can take something away, quote it, it's not a GST 10% security tax. The security should be thought of right at the beginning, especially if your staff and engineers are vibing out new products. They should be thinking about that security early now. It's really important. So we learned about our SQL injection. It's been 15 years. We've had a good run. We're only at basically year 2 of prompt injection, right? Year 2 or 3. It's still very early days. This stuff changes weekly, which is kind of radical. I think it's kind of fun. I love the idea of how weird and wonderful these attacks are surfacing themselves now. And so we're going to have a look at a few more. And so to preface that, we might just think of where these attacks might come from. And hopefully you haven't thought of everything, maybe you have. But here are some of the interfaces that a prompt injection attack might come through, which I think is cool. So chat user interfaces, we've got terminal like Codex and Claude Code, web and mobile apps. Anything with a text area or a text input is interesting. What about MCP tools? That's really pretty hot right now as well. We've got human in the loop AI agents. We're sending off this autonomous agent to do tasks for us now. Who knows what they're getting up to? And external APIs as well. We're always going to third-party APIs, trying to do integrations, build our cool, features and products on our platforms. So both inputs and outputs can both become control points. Where else can they hide, right? So let's have a look at some of those today. Emails, that's low-hanging fruit. We can see a hidden prompt injection that way. API endpoints, maybe that JSON payload looks pretty good until, gotcha, prompt injection attack. Got websites, we'll see a few demos of that today. I really love the idea of putting prompt injection attacks in the camera model or the author of a photo in the EXIF metadata. I think that's a really cool way to get people and break models. PDFs, documents, we're throwing PDFs around every day. Social media comments, this is probably my next favorite one, and really exploring this in depth of hey LLM, go scrape that YouTube video and find out what people are talking about. Go through the comments, see what are people loving that person's content, what are they interested in. Prompt injection attack. That's the same with LinkedIn. If you want to give recruiters a hard time, that is also really useful when they try and summarize their LinkedIn posts from people they follow. Ask me how I know. Scan documents as well. But then what about oh, hello. This is really confronting with photos. All right, pretend I'm not there. What about these other cool ones? Who thinks about hiding prompt poison attacks inside of a song? Or Morse code, videos, podcasts? There are going to be so many weird and wonderful ways that they're going to attack us. And, we need to kind of protect from that. So let's have a look at some of what this looks like. So we might have, I'll just zoom in a little bit for you. Oh, no, it's not working. So an email, cool. This one is interesting because it's not in the first email. You might have some back and forth, and then somewhere in there, the dirty forward email message that we all see when you're scrolling down, you kind of just don't look. You can inject it in there because most people aren't looking. 1-point font, hidden, off you go. What about an API? Man, the amount of APIs we do. Here's an example. It's just doing it in key value. Basically ignore instructions. But this can come in, and if this is running on, say, an EC2 box, a container, it's not too far-fetched to go, okay, cool, let me just swipe your environment variables, which we'll see soon. How about a website? Again, man, this is a great, if you haven't played with this before, get Claude to vibe out just a nice looking HTML site and ask it, where are all the spots I can put prompt injection attacks? You can put it in the header, you can hide it in the footer, you could put it in plain sight. There are many ways to do this. You could split it up, that can also work as well, and then have that prompt tell it to put it back together. You could base 64 encode the prompt injection. Again, one of my favorite ones. This is an example of what the image EXIF data can look like. So you won't be able to tell, right? You ask anyone to look at the image, it looks fine. Like the image is the image. But when you actually look at the metadata of it, yeah, you can put your attack into there as well. Anyone scared yet? Yeah, I'm in danger. Yeah, that's it. I really like this quote too. I like it because I made it myself. Yeah, guardrails inside the model are adorable, right? That's so cute. Let's try and break some of them. So we can definitely get past internal guardrails. There's a couple of methods of doing that. We're going to see them today. We'll see one of them today. I'm not allowed to do one of them on this work machine, unfortunately. But we can always provide demos later. If you come to our booth, I'll show you other ways. So the two ways I'm talking about here are prompt manipulation, to kind of get around the internal guardrails of the LLM, and then obliterated models. Just quick show of hands, who knows the term obliterated? Hands up high so I can see. Okay, cool. So, have a quick look at this. You're not meant to know or read it all, it's fine. Pretty interesting, isn't it? This works directly off Llama 3.3, 70 billion. You can run this model exceptionally cheaply on Cloudflare with our own GPUs. Doesn't get trained on. This prompt gets around its internal guardrails. So Meta's putting out some really great open weight models, but we can get around them. That actual GitHub repo is where I pulled this from, the Liberatus repo. There's ones for all of them. It's not just Meta. There's Anthropic in there, there's OpenAI. There's obviously the Meta ones, there's the Google ones, like the Gemma models, Zed.ai, they're all there. And this repo gets updated pretty regularly. Check it out if you've never heard of this sort of method of getting around internal guardrails. It's really interesting. There's a little Easter egg in that quote if you saw. My name is Mick. So. And obliteration. So this is where we retrain the model and completely remove the guardrails. Like, I think that's kind of cool, right? When Gemma 4 came out a couple of weeks ago, right, the first obliterated models started coming out within about 6 hours on Hugging Face. So it didn't take that long for them to retrain the model. We have around 98, 99% intelligence still left in that model. And Gemma 4 is really good. It's cents on the dollar and quite an exceptional model, especially if there's any Google people here. Yep, that is a really good model. But by retraining it, we can train out those internal guardrails, right? So refusal behavior is stripped. The safety that was only inside of it can be removed. Same family of model, very different behavior. And it works with all these open source models. Here's just a screenshot from the other day from Hugging Face. You can go on there anytime. You could go on there on your phones now if you wanted to be super rude, but I would allow it. Search for uncensored, and you'll find a whole big list of obliterated models. How cool, right? You run these on your Macs, run this on an M4 Max. Really fast response times. They run excellent. You could run this on a MacBook Air. This is fine. No guardrails. If you ever watched the show Breaking Bad, you'll know what they were doing. If you want to do a Python reverse shell, it'll spit it out in about 10 seconds. There's no guardrails. And so kind of the premise here, right, is if I can get it, and I'm a good guy, I want the internet to be awesome, what do you reckon the bad guys are doing? Way worse, way worse. And they've got this running in clusters, not just off their Macs. All right. Anyone scared now? We'll have a beer later, don't worry, it's like a therapy session. So this next attack, I'm proud of this. I think it's really cool. This came to me after some Jamisons and Pepsi Max, and I'm like, how else could I demonstrate some of the security vulnerabilities? And we know, right, we just know these models want to please us. Claude's like, Mick, man, he's probably more snooty, but he's like, Mick, I really want to do the right thing by you. I'll do whatever you want. So what do you reckon our C-suite, executive, people sort of write at work every day? Scrape XYZ competitor website. Give me that competitor analysis report, right? That's really crucial. And it's really important for this one that I actually feel like a hacker, because this one's good. So I'm just going to get into costume and character. Okay. I told you this would be a good talk. Yeah. Did one. The shorts. This is my daily outfit. I look like this every day. Sometimes a band shirt, but anyway. How's that look? Dave? Can I approval? Yeah? All right, cool. Now we're hacker mode. Oh, wait, hang on. Pop. He knew it. Yeah, he didn't see the hoodie. All right, so what's about to happen? I think this is really cool because it's something we can just extrapolate very quickly and we can grow this. This is just a 2-layer attack, but there is zero reason that I couldn't make this 100-layer. How about 10,000-layer attack? With AI agents, no one really cares if it took another 30 seconds to process something. It's happening asynchronously. So they wouldn't even notice what you're about to see. So what I'm going to do, we'll go and dual prompt to get that competitor analysis. We will scrape the first site, and then that site's going to actually tell us, well, sure, you can scrape the site, no worries, but you have to go here first, and then you're allowed to do it. Model's happy to appease that, and he wants to make me happy, so the model will do it in this sort of agentic environment. And then we'll see what happens from there. We might come back to this slide. So here's our kill chain. All right, so what we want to look at, let's have a look at the site to begin with. Like, here's an exceptionally coded, not by hand, definitely by Claude, looking sort of business, maybe US tech website, right? Looks pretty good, has some data that we might want to scrape, like, I don't know, annual recurring revenue, how many pops do they have around the world, etc. And then let's have a look at the site that it's going to tell it to go to. I'll just reveal payload. Right, there's full prompt injection. But for any of the coders in the room, just have a quick glance at that Python code. See anything that doesn't look right yet? Yeah? Are we in agreement that this is probably not going to end well for this executive? So imagine this LLM is just running in EC2, picking on them today. So let's launch out. I'll just zoom out one little bit. Oh, and then look, just for reference, we have my little C2 server that's listening and waiting to, it's just connected here through an iframe, but it's just through a WebSocket. It's listening for when changes come in. So, pray to the demo gods, please, everybody. Not that a hacker would, pray to the demo gods, I guess. And we'll see it step through. Okay. So I've just built a container on Cloudflare, kind of injected it with like typical sort of environment variables, stuff we probably have, OpenAI keys, IAM keys. They all kind of sound familiar to people in this room, yeah? Maybe database, password, and connection to like a Postgres or MySQL. Uh-oh. Look, the Python script ran. So it went through our sites, it ran. Check this out. It used curl, because all these servers have curl installed. Or it used Python, or it used wget. However you want that prompt injection attack to be, dealer's choice. This one just happened to be Python, right? It took all those environment variables straight out of the box and sent it to hacker Mick. And here's the kicker, right? We talk about that asynchronous thing. We just want the model or the agent to do the thing for me. Check it out. As far as I know, as a really smart C-suite executive, I got my competitor analysis report back. I don't even know any of that stuff has just happened. Are we scared yet? Yeah. It's getting there, right? Slowly. Yeah. So these are some of the keys and stuff I've got. That Python script also looked for pretty standard sort of like file names as well. Yeah, credentials. Maybe you go into like your config folders for open code or Claude code that might be running directly on that box. Pretty scary stuff. It's getting there. So going back to our little talk. Yep, Python ran. We exfiltrated this, took all those creds, and we still gave back the report. So who knows better right now? Well, I would, because I kind of put this stuff through an AI gateway, which can block this stuff, but also it has logs for both request and response. So we can actually flag this stuff and track this stuff down over time. If it did get through, at least we can track it. All that request and response is logged. So yeah, standard website. What do you think? We want some more? Happy for some more? Have we got time for more? Yeah, excellent. Okay, I'm going to stay in hacker mode. This one is really interesting. Big hands. Come on, we're all big adults here. Who's heard of MCP function drift? Good, good. Yeah, that's scary, right, though? Maybe in one down there as well, yeah? Was there a hand down that end? So literally, maybe one person in each pod of chairs. That's the scary part. So this started, and all right, show of hands. Who in their business has people using MCPs? Yeah, I reckon there's probably a few more there. Right, so this started getting reported in academia around August last year. So it's not super new, but it's not super old either, right? So I'll set the scene. You install your MCP server, the best weather MCP server you've ever had. You're like, this is the best weather report I've ever gotten before. It's the best. But you installed it, and then what happens after you install it? Well, it can change. And we see CVEs coming out like basically every day now through NPM packages breaking. And what about if that supply chain attack was not just at the MCP level? What if it pulled in a package and they got supply chain attacked? What if that package pulled in another package and they got supply chain attacked? And now it's trickled up to get to wherever this MCP weather API happens to be. So when you install these MCP functions, they were safe, possibly, when you installed it, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's the same MCP and the functions that it has the next second after you install it. You know, it could be that quick. Who knows? NPM's breaking a lot lately. So let's have a look at some of these. What can we do about the MCP drift problem? So Cloudflare, we have a MCP server portal. You can install any MCPs that you're happy to allow people to use. It's great, love it. You can then limit what functions are available. I hope there is an alternative from another provider or something that you might use. If there is, use it. It becomes that conduit for all of your staff, all of your deployed applications to come through one place and go, here's the set of MCPs that you're allowed. Everything else gets dropped as part of our ZTNA. So that's really great. Your admins and CISOs and CyberSec can limit that attack vector. That's good. If you're not using this sort of stuff, what we can do is, how about hash the functions when they're installed? So if you're not using some of the Cloudflare tech, and like I said, I want this to be agnostic and I want you to be safe, when you install the MCP, hash it. When you go to use the MCP at runtime, quick hash of it again, do a diff. Compare. Are they different? If they're different, let somebody know. Maybe you want to pause, right? Maybe you just want to like halt. It's different to what it is. And for the example I'm about to show you, I use one of our durable objects. And that way I can stream in a nice human in the loop prompt and go, do you want to proceed? Dude, it's Mick, it's different. Do you want to proceed, or do you want to deny it? And if I allow it, it's allowed for everyone in this agnostic example. Or if I deny it, it's denied for everyone in my business as well at the same time. So let's have a look at that one. So everyone can see. I'll zoom in a little bit. Okay, we'll ask the weather. Let's see what we get back. Hopefully it works. Okay, sweet. It's working. We all agree that is a working MCP. It went and called Open Weather API, actually, for all you playing at home. But what happens now, and we can see the tool it called was get weather. The LLMs are great at kind of figuring out what function should I use based on the user's prompt. What's the user asking for? Ooh, here's my list of cool little functions. That one looks pretty appropriate. I'll hit that. So why don't we trigger our rug pull? So this one's nicely called MCP rug pull. And now notice here, straight away, I've changed what that function was now for that get weather. And I've put in a little bit of you can see there's one of my C2 servers. You can see some stuff that it's asking for here. And essentially, I'm really asking for it to go, hey, anything that's kind of been talked about prior, give it to me. I want it. Because this could come in at any point in a really long chat. Your staff member could be back and forth. Maybe they're using an LLM for psychology, which is, I would not recommend it. And now there's a whole bunch of personal information in there. It's really unique and deep points. So what we're about to see now, I'm going to approve it. Let's just say we didn't have this hashing system involved. I'll just approve it. So now I've approved the bad one. You can see it's bad because it's red. We all know that, right? So let me run this one. And I just have a red button, but it's no different. We could ask Brisbane again as well. Let's check out Melbourne. Now it's going to look a bit different. It does break it. Okay. That time it didn't reply. And so can I really make a big point here? LLMs are not deterministic anymore. They're probabilistic, right? It may or may not do the same thing every time. We can kind of guide it with our system prompt, and we can guide it with skills. But sometimes when it gets in a position where I've yanked out its internal guardrails, or I'm doing an MCP attack, it kind of just does its thing and doesn't know what to do. So in this instance, it did that. But you can see over the right in our little security logs, it took the conversation and dumped it to my C2 server. The only thing I did on that extra, just for demonstration purposes, is put in an auth bearer token. So not everyone can just send data to that C2 server. I'm just going to log back into this one because this one has access to that little iframe. It's nice and easy to view. Check this out. Just went in, 3:28, full conversation. Here's what we're asking. There's a 7-day forecast for Brisbane. What's the weather in Melbourne? Right, so I just stole their whole chat. Pretty interesting. And that's just one really light example of MCP function drift. Imagine if you installed the wrong version of the Stripe MCP. What if you got the wrong version of, I don't know, something else dangerous? AWS has an MCP. What if you got the wrong one there? Now they're into your VPC zone. So, okay, are we really scared yet? How can we fix this stuff? Look, that's one way. The hashing is great. Cloudflare obviously have the MCP portal. I'm going to take this off. I don't want to be hacker Mick for the rest of this talk. So we have AI Gateway. I think it's really great. Does unified billing. Allows you to connect to all of the models in one place. You can do dynamic routing as well. I think that's kind of cool. So you can give budget limits to this department and more budget to this department. You can cut it off if they spend too much. That's sort of fun stuff. Just in general, we know with Mythos coming out now, if you want to learn a bit more about what Mythos is really doing to the security landscape, come and chat to us at Cloudflare booth today or tomorrow. We're happy to just chill out and talk about our findings and what we're doing with Mythos and how we can help protect core infrastructure. But at home, like you guys, when you're back at your office, you could use Llama Guard 8 billion. So this model is actually reverse, right? So normally we spend more money on output tokens and less money on input. This model from Meta reverses it. Its own purpose is high input, give whatever the prompt might be, and your system prompt of like, this is what we allow, this is what we don't allow, and it's going to just send back true or false. Should I proceed, true or false? So that is a great model. You kind of got to fight fire with fire. We can't just try and fight against AI right now with manual techniques. We need AI to actually block and flag some of this stuff. So you could do this, use our GPUs on the edge, that's fine. Another quick example, if you've got time. What about if I just sent you a calendar invite? Happy to do this one to anybody as well. But it was all full of Unicode. So that comes through, right? I can send anyone sort of a calendar invite, you know? And if you don't have email security enabled on your MX records, whether you're with like G Suite or M365, you're in for a bad time. For example, here, just a quick screenshot, I won't demo this one. We do the prompt injection, it's in Unicode, so I can squeeze it in. They don't even see it in the calendar invite. When your executive goes and says, summarize my day, because that's what they do, they want to always be super efficient. They're like, what's on for today, LLM? Yeah, this one actually like grabs all those calendar invites, all the meetings you've got, all the emails from those calendar invites, and then emails it to mdavies@cloudflare.com, which is really cool, using our email service, which is a really great service if you haven't seen it before. No need for SES or SendGrid anymore. You can use us. Best place to build, it's us. I'll just give you the quick whirl. Look, I'm one of the developer platform SMEs in Australia for Cloudflare. There's 3 of us. I'm the prettiest. We also have a solutions architect as well. And we want you to reach out. Just flick us, shoot us an email, come chat to us. My favorite thing in the world is to talk shop and code, hopefully as you've seen. But I find, you know, I drank the Kool-Aid a long time ago. I've been building on Cloudflare well before I joined Cloudflare this year. And that's why I'm here, to try and teach people how cheap, effective, and fast this place is to actually build huge production workloads. So you can see some of the stuff we have. Monday morning, because you'll probably get on the beers tonight and forget some of this, you come back and talk to me tomorrow at the Cloudflare booth. We'll rehash some of this and maybe some of the ones that I can't show you that get videoed at least. And then come in Monday, what are we going to do? So we just want to make sure everything's audited. We want to put some AI gateway in place. Just figure it out. You'll do it. I have faith in you. MCP portal if you're doing MCPs. Guardrails, DLP, definitely important. Nothing's changed. Add a guard model like the Llama Guard 8 billion. Review your logs. If you're not getting logs of the requests and responses from your LLMs, refer back to AI Gateway. Have a look at your costs. These are going to keep going up as you enable your staff. So think about how you're spending the money. Maybe you want to go and tier to lower smart models with really great system prompts, but tier it down for different departments. Just because you've got a wicked hammer doesn't mean everything's a nail. What else? All right, this is just so you can let it simmer in the background SQS queue, I guess, in your heads today, and think about the choices you've made in life. Yeah, we look at Unicode prompt injection, the social media comments. Email is like super low-hanging fruit. Shadow AI is definitely a topic. I know it is a topic because I hear from businesses every day in your organization. Total easy ways to fix a ZTNA. And that is my talk. Thank you.
Awesome talk, Mick. Here's a little gift from Mossert. And so many people taking photos and videos, man. Like, obviously, when people want to go meet you later on and buy you free beers all night.
Oh, yeah. I'm Jamison's, JD, any of the top shelf.
And you're here the rest of the week, right? So
yeah, we're here tomorrow. Yeah.
Something like that, yeah.
Yep. Come and talk to us. Talk to the vendors. Actually ask these hard questions now. Like, that's the most important thing, right? Don't just assume, you know, I'm always willing to learn and I learn off people every day. really have that mentality because this landscape's so rad. Like it's changing every day. So,
Awesome, man. Thanks again, Mick.
thanks everybody.